A very pleasant good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to Big Stone Television. As you know, the journey continues. The journey with we pay our ultimate respect to those great legends, those who are alive and with us, and those who are gone too soon. Today is part 2 to a journey of an iconic Jamaican artist. We're talking about Horsemouth Wallace. Yeah, Leroy Horsemouth Wallace. And I also want to big up United Reggae, because without them, this series would not have been possible. Thank you for playing a very important role, United Reggae, in helping to expose what really happened to Leroy Horsemouth Wallace. And the story continues. We did part 1 and we pay our respect to one of my dearest fans, the Royal General. This series belongs to him. The Royal General, if you're listening, I want to thank you too, man, for being with Big Stone Television for a long time. I respect your comments. Some are favorable and some are not. But guess what? I respect your honesty and I respect your straightforwardness. So you still on top of my list as one of my favorite fans. Now the journey continues. The question was asked of Leroy Horsemouth Wallace was, you stayed at Studio One for a long time. His answer was, 35 years I recorded at Studio One. I was the last drummer when Coxon died. I was the last drummer. I looked at him when he died. I saw his eyes turn over. There were so many people around him trying to help him. They didn't help him properly. They should have just taken him right away to the hospital. They were there making tea for him and blah, blah, blah. Then Mr. Dad, he ate that day. He had so much money, he could say, go buy a big bowl of soup for me. And someone was cooking mackerel and dumpling and things for him. He was on medication and his wife wasn't there. I'm sure he was on a medication not to eat those things. I was sad when he died. We took him to the hospital and they pronounced him dead. And we took him to the police station. He was in my friend's car and I looked at the boss and tears came to my eyes because there's a big man there with all his pockets full of money, but money couldn't do nothing for him. He's dead. He's one of the people that gave me an opportunity, and I love that. Now he's dead, so we buried him. Tell me how you got involved in the 1968 Walter Rodney protests and got sent to jail. Wow, the Dr. Rodney protest, Horsemouth replied. I was working at the government printing office and Fullwood came to me and told me. I saw Fullwood's big brother right beside near to Garden House and East Street, and the government printing office was on the same street. I came out for lunch at 12 o'clock and there was Lucky, Fully's brother, of the guy that played the bass, and that's Fully's bigger brother. He said to me, Horsemouth, you're there doing your job and now no black man can come to Jamaica. They sent Muhammad Ali and Dr. Rodney back on the plane. I said, what? And right there, the black culture started to hit me. I was in my big job and this guy's talking like I'm not interested as a black person or as a rebel. So I got it in my head and I forget my job and started to walk in the procession. It was like P.J. Patterson, D.K. Duncan, and some on the right and some on the left. Those kinds of politicians. We marched up to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, which was in George VI Memorial Park, and it's called Era Circle now. So I went there with all those politicians and some university students, and us poor people who followed them were just like pawns. Because when we went in jail, they didn't go in jail. They just locked up us. Went to this park with them, and then the politicians start to blah, 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 with loads of speakers, and then the boys behind us start to fling over them. So then the police did answer back with some heavy tear gas. It was lucky for us because over that park there were some pipes on the ground, so that helped me to get out of there. Then they went to Mazooka building, and when they got there, they started to mash up the place down there. I thought it was a revolution, but it was no revolution. It was just robbing and stealing. My friend got a bus and said, "Horsemouth, come in and collect some money." So I went into the bus and started collecting some money, and the police kept on watching me as I was collecting all the money, and my friend was driving the bus. When we reached downtown, we left the bus and we start to walk. "Was that when you were arrested?" Horsemouth replied. You know what's funny? Was the day I was supposed to play on a song, Mama No Want Bangara. That day I didn't realize I had a session with Bunny Lee that evening. I was supposed to play on that song with Stranger Cole. So Carlton Barrett, Family Man's brother, he didn't even know how to play drums. All he knew was a bossa nova beat drums out rhythm. He played the bossa nova beat on it, and it sounded good. Family Man was waiting for me because me and Family Man used to play. We play on a tune called "Every Night You Go to Bed You Have Wet Dream" and "Hold You Jack." That was the first makes flying cymbal noise. People don't realize that. They say Santa played the first flying cymbals. I have been playing flying cymbals long time, for years. Trust me, brethren. Most of the parts where they play the straight 4 drum out rhythm, they learned that from me too. China told me that Lloyd Knibb played the first flying cymbals on Moonlight Lover. Wallace replied, "Yeah, but that's for the ska." When it comes down to rocksteady, Lloyd Knibb didn't see the idea of playing it that way. When it comes down to rocksteady, it becomes calypso with the shh. That's how I played it. It was a calypso beat I was playing. In those days, it was how calypso goes. How big an influence was Lloyd Knibb's on your drumming? Yeah, that's where I learned the Jamaican ska from. That's where I learned my real Jamaican. That's where I got the attitude of the music. He gave me my attitude. A couple of years ago, I was playing in France in a group called Pierpoljak. There were a big group there who sold triple platinum in France. I was there for 8 years playing with his French group. We were at a show and the group played and they had some horns. They played before the Skatalites came on. So when I came up, I saw Brevet and I saw Lloyd, my teacher. I said, "You're my teacher." And Lloyd Knibb looked at me and said, "Horsemouth, I learned something from you tonight." Lloyd Knibb told me that. I said, "What? You're the one I learned from." You mentioned Fullwood while you were at Studio One. You were also involved at the start of Soul Syndicate Band. Horsemouth replied, "Yes, I was the one who took China and Santa to Soul Syndicate. Mr. Brown, Mr. Fullwood, they lived in California now. I trained Santa, put him on the drums, held his hand and trained him like a little boy how to play the drum. I don't know why he doesn't tell people that. You recorded several DJ records as Mad Roy for Cox in the early 70s. Then in 1975, you DJ on the Smoker Classic, Herb Vender. Can you tell me about the track's creation? Horsemouth replied, I used to live in Waterhouse at my mom's place. I'd go to Scratch Lee Perry's house all the time because it was nearby in Washington Gardens over across the gully. I'd go to Scratch Perry in Black Hawk Studio hustling because Waterhouse was very hard at the time and that was the nearest studio to my home. I went there and that was how I got to do several songs with Lee Perry playing drums like War in a Babylon. And that one Herb Vender I did for myself. I played the melodica and I played the rhythm too on the drums. I'm trying to remember who played the bass. It might have been Family Man. Boris Gardner? Wallace replied, I'm not sure if it was Boris Gardner, but there was some bassman there alone. Boris Gardner played there, but I'm not sure if he was there at the time. Where did you get the lyrics for Herb Vender? Horsemouth replied, well, it's my lyrics, you know. I'm a man who used to smoke herb and I knew people that sold herb as friends. But I never used to sell weed, just smoke it. In those days, a young herb smoker, if you listen to the music, it wasn't like ganja, it was cali weed, cali bud. It wasn't sensimilia time. All those things were very important for people to know. As well as that song for Scratch Perry, I did songs for Bunny Lee and for Coxsone. And I Love I Can Feel, John Old, Universal Love. I did one named Far Beyond where I played the melodica. It's a dub poetry and it's a melodica instrumental. You mentioned the flying cymbal sound earlier. In his book, Bunny Lee says the first flying cymbal was Sly Dunbar in Skin, Flesh and Bones. Let's talk about Sly. You both played at Channel 1 and you both played on Phase 1, which had their own take on that mid-70s style. Horsemouth replied, Sly Dunbar came a long time after me. He came a long way with Ansel Collins. You know what? A lot of those songs at Channel 1, they put Sly Dunbar's name on it. I played 30 songs for Jojo Hokim, but I had a bad experience with him. He didn't want to pay me, so I got mad and flinged some stone in his place, and he didn't give me my credit. He gave all credit to Sly Dunbar. But if you listen good, you know which ones I played, because Jojo Hokim, he had a whole big selection. Delroy Wilson's on it, and he had a whole heap of singers like Barrington Levy's first album. You see, most of the singers, I played their first albums. They all passed through me first before they went through Sly or anybody. After they passed through me, they went to Sly. Sly came after Channel 1 built up because I was before Channel 1. You gave a press conference at the Rance where you said Sly's a Pan-American drummer. I am a Pan-African drummer. Horsemouth replied, yes, I am Pan-African and he's Pan-American. If you're Pan-American, they give you a Grammy. You mean because he loved American soul music? Wallace replied, yeah, he's the one who brought the thing to the funk and soul more. If you listen to Burning Spear or even Bob Marley's songs with Tyrone Downey and all those guys were really highly thinking musicians, you know. I am highly thinking too because I went to Alpha. More than them, but I have a cause and a conviction. I see it start to work through me and it really sounds good how it happened to me and I created it out of my own head. I learned at Alpha, yes. So I learned at music school, But then all those overtures, all those marches and things, I learned at school. I put them all together and made my own thing. You also talk about the movie Rockers. You say you never got paid to be in the movie. Wallace replied, I was young and stupid. I just wanted the excitement, wasn't thinking about money. All I was thinking about is this Rasta culture to spread all over the world. Spread the gospel and the works. In those days, we didn't get much media attention. So an opportunity like that to star in a movie would be big. After I had been seeing Humphrey Bogart, Tony Curtis, and all those guys in movies, I wished to be one of them all the time as a little kid. So that was my chance to be Humphrey Bogart. You see me do that walk there? Yeah. John Wayne, Humphrey Bogart, Tony Curtis, those guys, Western guys, they had that swing in their walking. So I picked up that from them. But this guy, Teddy Bafalukas, when he saw me there, he gave me and Dirty Harry an opportunity, and I was very thankful. I went 3 years ago with Lee Scratch Perry and Maxi Romeo and the Congos to Greece, and we met him. He was on stage, and that was good for me to see him. He and his wife, Eugenie, they're still alive. That guy, Bafalukas, gave me an opportunity. He just believed in us, and we didn't let him down. The famous scene where you and Dirty Harry take over the Turntable Club, how did that scene come about? Wallace replied, you see, I don't want to sound like everything is me, but we didn't have a script for that movie. I'm the one who brought that scene because I used to go to Meritone's club. Meritone was a very good sound system that used to play when I was a little youth. I used to go to Meritone way uptown Constant Spring in the mountains from Kingston. You'd go those places to dance and come back 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. No fight, no war, just nice Meritone. But then he owned this club, Turntable, in Reddy's Road, and sometimes I had to go there with my girl because it was a nice club to go to with your girls. I'd say Meritone give me some reggae. Or later on, play a song that I play drum on. See my latest song play, and he'd put it down and play all foreign stuff. Boom, boom, boom. So I decided to go in that club and do a scene because the guy didn't have a script, you know. Rockers is all about incident that happened to us in the ghetto. It might fall into a storyline, but it's how it can be continued. It's open. It can be continued because I end up sleeping in the end. Ladies and gentlemen, there ends part 2. Part 3 will continue because there's a whole lot more to Leroy Horsemouth story. The Royal General, I just want to big you up again, man. I want to thank you so much for requesting this Jamaican artist, a Jamaican legend who should have been paid millions of dollars for his hard work and his drum playing and his ideas. In the end, he didn't make that much of a money. Pittance, if you want to call it. But the thing that I love about Leroy Horsemouth Wallace, he was not ungrateful. He still gave his respect to that gentleman who gave him an opportunity to be popular. He said in those days, publicity was very rare. And as an artist, you definitely need publicity for people to know you, for you to become famous, for you to become on the lips of everyone. So Ted Bafalukas, I just want to thank you too, man. Thank you for believing in the mindset, the skills, the acting skills, even though they were original. of our legend slash icon, Leroy Horsemouth Wallace. Thank you for giving him that opportunity that has made his name and his feature permanently etched in our minds forever. Rockers is still one of the all-time greatest movie, along with The Other Day Come, that ever came out of Jamaica, that really showcased the inner city community, the ghetto life of some of these artists, how hard they had to work without being compensated. Leroy Horsemouth Wallace, you did a remarkable job, man. You were my favorite character in the movie. I want to thank you, for as a young man growing up, you gave me hope that if a Leroy Horsemouth Wallace can make it, then I can make it. Everybody can make it. And we want our younger viewers, our younger audience to really go back and watch that movie that Ted Bafalukas gave the opportunity to Leroy Horsemouth Wallace. He's still not a rich man today, but Horsemouth, your richness is greater than money. Your richness is in the glory, the revolution, the sweetness of reggae music, and people from all over the world love you and appreciate you for this. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, part 2. Part 3 coming up. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and share this video. And if you have not yet, subscribe to my channel. Now is the time for you